Hey, there you are. How's it going today? You look like you're working hard. Yeah, that's good. I hear your training is coming along. I told you before, I always keep track of what's going on in my guild. And you definitely stand out. It's a good thing. I like that you're doing well. But you don't look all that happy. You okay? Hey, no. If something's on your mind, you need to tell me. I'm the Guildmaster. I have to know what's going on, especially if something is making you unhappy. Whatever it is, we can talk it through. You know me, I'm a big believer in communication. We don't bottle stuff up around here. I won't force you to talk, you have agency, but I would very, very much prefer you let me know what's turning around in that head of yours. That way I can help make it right. I mean it. Go ahead, you can tell me. Is that what you're worried about? I don't believe in tattling. If people have issues, they can talk to each other or they can talk to me, but either way, communication is happening. If someone runs to me to whine about someone else, I'll probably just redirect them to sort out their own differences. If something really blows up, I can mediate and facilitate better relations. But tattling? That's not a thing. I need to know what's going on, good and bad. So you think you'll be tattling on someone if you talk to me? I promise I'll keep it to myself, but if there's some work to be done, I would like you to let me help you. Does that make sense? I won't interfere. You can tell me things without worrying about that. But I also won't let it slide if we need to make something better. Don't worry, though. If it comes to that, you'll be the one calling the shots every step of the way, okay? Okay. It's your experience, after all. You should be the one to address it. So what's happened? What's making you look so upset? Oh? Oh yeah, I get that. Ah, right, and you weren't comfortable with that. But he insisted, I take it? Well, knowing him, he insisted pretty strenuously. Made you feel like you couldn't push back, that sort of thing? Yeah, that sounds like him. I'm glad you've been training with him, but he can be a bit much. He can be a lot, actually. Great to learn from, but also a bit of a bully. He's got strong opinions, and even if they are just opinions, he treats them like fact. And he can roll over people like a boulder down a mountain. Am I getting it right? Like I said, don't worry, you're not tattling. I've heard some of this about him before. I've experienced it myself, actually. He's abrasive. You've learned a lot, but I guess all that time with him has started to wear on you. Maybe in ways you didn't even realize until recently. And now, you're feeling it. The weight of it, the negativity, the vibes you don't like, it's all starting to get heavy. It can make you feel powerless, especially when he gets going. Yeah, I get you. So have you said anything to him about it? Asked him to back off or change up some things? Put your own opinion forward? Well, this is probably a stupid question, but why not? I see. I think I understand. So you think that being at the bottom of the pecking order means you can't speak up. Or maybe it's more because you're still a student, and if you object to any of the educational process, you won't get to keep doing it. Maybe he makes you feel like if you push back on his methods or opinions, he'll get mad or stop teaching you, something like that. Yeah, I get it. There's a definite power disparity. When you're the one who has lots to learn, or when you're the youngest in the room, or when you're just the newest person to join a group, it can be difficult to stand up for yourself. You don't want to make waves. You don't want to stand out as being a pain or difficult. You want people to like you. You want the most opportunities you can get. And if others are in a position of power, you can feel like you don't have the right to voice your own thoughts. Like I said, completely understand. That said, let me offer you some advice if you're all right with it. The thing is, everyone here is part of the guild. The oldest members, the newest members. Everyone belongs to the same group, which means everyone has a voice, including you. Of course you do. You can speak up about anything you like. Now, that doesn't mean there aren't consequences for speaking up. If you throw your weight around or get obnoxious, there can be unpleasant outcomes. But if you're just sharing opinions or talking with other members, you can always speak freely, even if you're the newest newbie in the entire hall. Yes, even with him. He pushes you around, but most of the time he doesn't realize how he comes across. He's just that way. You have to stand up to him to make him see where he's gone too far. And honestly, he respects a little pushback. He respects spine, even if he blusters about it. No, of course not. Don't be mean. There's never a reason to be mean or cruel or anything like that. Speaking up, standing up for yourself, that doesn't mean bullying others. But you can communicate your feelings clearly. If he suggests an activity that you're not feeling right with, you're totally allowed to say, I don't want to do that. You can say, I'm not comfortable with that. Be assertive, just not rude. I get that. It's a balancing act. For some of it, you need to get to know the people, get a feel for the best ways to talk to them. And some people might take offense where none is intended, just because they're touchy. But that's not your fault. Other people are responsible for their own reactions. All you can do is do your best to be polite but firm and defend your position. Don't let anyone make a doormat out of you. Not at all. Being a student doesn't mean being stomped on. You have rights too. You're a member of the guild. You matter just as much as everyone else here, even me. I know it's not easy. Conflict rarely is. It's almost easier to fight monsters in the dungeons than it is to stand up to our own allies and friends. And standing up to a teacher or a leader, that's extra tough. But how else do you become a leader yourself? Well, that's what you want, right? You want to be a leader? I know you're a long way from that, and some of our attempts to get you there have been mediocre at best, but you will get there. Learning how to fight and survive is part of the battle. Plenty of people here can help you with that. But the other part is learning to assert yourself in a way that's fair and just. Being clear about your perspective while also considering others. Expressing yourself while also listening. Not being the boulder that runs people over, but being the one who cuts a path through the underbrush for your team. That you have to learn on your own, but I'm here to help however I can. Well, for starters, I can encourage you to stand up to anyone you're not okay with. Say your piece. If they snap at you, you're free to walk away. Remember, if they don't treat you well, they don't deserve to be teachers. Can you agree with that? Exactly. Think of it this way. They're doing you a favor by helping you learn, but you're under no obligation to accept that favor if they're going about it in a bad way. You don't owe them anything. You can be grateful for their help, and you can say as much. In fact, you should always thank those who try to help. But you can also say, this isn't for me. You can seek out others for help instead. You can express what's bothering you and maybe open a dialogue. At the very least, you don't have to suffer. No, not at all. You shouldn't dread your lessons. You shouldn't have to live in fear of what you'll be told to do. None of that's okay. Hell, if it comes to that, I'll just teach you myself, rather than expect you to do that. No matter what anyone else tells you, emotional suffering is not part of the process. Soreness, exhaustion, mental gymnastics for things like strategy, sure. Training is going to take it out of you in various ways. But you shouldn't be upset after. You should feel pretty good about yourself, actually. Yes, you should. Gods, look around you. Look how far you've come, how much you've accomplished. All of that matters. And your voice matters too. What you think and feel and believe and experience. So don't forget that. All right, well, you look a little better. Now for next steps. Do you want me to talk to him? Or do you want to try talking to him the next time you meet him for a lesson? I think that's a good idea. You don't really need me involved with it. You can handle it yourself. Just tell him how you feel, and if he grumbles, stand your ground. Be firm in your convictions. And if he refuses to work with you because of that, I'll help you find someone else who will. Don't worry about that at all. Yeah, well, he's not the only one here with power. No, not just me, you. You have so much more power than you realize, and you can always, always say no to any situation you're in. Listen, for what it's worth, I think you're going to be a good leader someday. Maybe even a great leader. Because you're smart, you're kind, you're thoughtful, and you're very quick to learn. All we have to do is work on that confidence of yours, make you feel less like you're at everyone's mercy. Some of that will take time, but you'll get there. I think you're going to be one of the best members this guild has ever had. I wouldn't say it if I didn't mean it. Just don't tell anyone, okay? I'm not supposed to play favorites. Okay, well, I'll leave you to your chores, but think about what I said and think about your own strengths. Remember your value. Oh, don't worry. If you forget, I'll always be here to remind you. Hey there, don't forget to leave a comment on this audio because I pin my favorite comment in all the newest audios. Also, shout out to Not an Arm Sock. You're this audio's randomly selected sweetness patron. Support me on Patreon if you want the chance to be shouted out next. The link is in the description, along with all of my other channels and all the ways you can support me. You're the reason I can keep this channel going. So thank you, and thanks for listening.